The day the sky closed, humanity believed it was witnessing the end of civilization. Across every continent, oceans froze beneath impossible shadows as colossal alien structures emerged from hyperspace. They were not warships in the ordinary sense but planetary engines, each larger than Earth's moon, forged by the united Galactic Dominion. The Dominion had watched humanity for centuries, studying every conflict, every invention, every impossible act of survival. They reached a terrifying conclusion: humans were too unpredictable to coexist with the galaxy. Rather than destroy Earth outright, they chose something they believed was more merciful. They would imprison it forever. A ring of reality-bending obelisks surrounded the solar system, weaving a prison called the Eternal Veil. It severed Earth from hyperspace, quantum communication, wormholes, and even the flow of cosmic time. To the outside galaxy, Earth vanished in a single heartbeat. To humanity, the stars themselves disappeared behind a shimmering black wall. Every telescope saw only darkness. Every radio transmission returned silence. Humanity had become a forgotten island in an endless sea of nothingness. The Galactic Dominion celebrated. They declared the human threat permanently contained. Across millions of worlds, history books recorded Earth as the silent prison. No fleet was stationed nearby because escape was considered mathematically impossible. The Dominion's greatest scientists calculated the barrier would remain stable for 100 million years. There was only one flaw in their calculations. They had never truly understood what humans did when there was nowhere left to run. At first came despair. Nations argued. Economies collapsed. Wars briefly reignited over dwindling resources. But as decades passed, something remarkable happened. Humanity stopped looking outward and began looking inward. Every military budget became a scientific budget. Every university became a research fortress. Every engineer, soldier, philosopher, and dreamer pursued one impossible question: if reality itself had become our prison, could reality itself be rewritten? Generations lived and died without seeing another star, but each generation left behind discoveries the next could build upon. Nuclear fusion became ancient history. Artificial intelligence evolved into true synthetic partners rather than servants. Gravity became programmable. Matter became editable. Human civilization transformed into something the ancestors would scarcely recognize. Thousands of years passed inside the veil while only centuries flowed outside. The prison had unintentionally accelerated Earth's evolution. Deep beneath Antarctica, scientists discovered microscopic fractures within spacetime itself. These fractures did not obey the laws of physics. They connected to something beyond dimensions, a place older than the universe. Humanity named it the Beyond Reality. Every probe vanished into it. None returned. Until one day, one did. The probe emerged decades later carrying impossible data, maps of higher dimensions, energy signatures that ignored conservation laws, and mathematical languages capable of describing universes as easily as humans described cities. The Beyond Reality was not empty. It was an ocean of infinite possibilities where entire timelines drifted like islands. Humanity realized the Eternal Veil had not trapped them from the universe. It had isolated them close to the greatest frontier imaginable. Exploration began immediately. Fleets unlike any ever imagined crossed into the Beyond Reality. Time lost meaning there. A voyage lasting one day could equal 10,000 years of experience. Civilizations were encountered that existed only as equations. Living stars traded memories instead of technology. Beings woven from pure probability taught humans to navigate dimensions by thought alone. Humanity adapted with astonishing speed. Flesh merged with quantum architecture. Starships became living organisms capable of dreaming new realities into existence. Children were born already understanding 11-dimensional geometry. Death itself became negotiable. Entire cities folded into pocket universes where creativity shaped physical law. Humanity was no longer merely a species. It became a civilization that could rewrite existence. Meanwhile, outside the veil, the Galactic Dominion flourished. Empires rose and fell. Wars reshaped sectors. New species joined galactic society. Earth faded into myth. School children laughed at stories claiming humans had once challenged the galaxy. The eternal veil became little more than a tourist attraction for historians. 50,000 years after Earth's imprisonment, a Dominion research station detected something impossible. One of the prison obelisks had moved. Not broken. Not damaged. Moved. The station commander assumed a sensor malfunction until every instrument confirmed the same terrifying truth. The obelisk had shifted outward, as though something inside had gently pushed it aside. An emergency alert spread across the Dominion. Fleets arrived within hours. Scientists scanned the barrier and found no weakness. Then another obelisk moved. Then another. One by one, the impossible prison opened itself from the inside. The commander whispered the words no one believed. Something is coming. The darkness within the veil shimmered. Space folded inward. Reality cracked like glass. From the fracture emerged a single human vessel. It was neither metal nor energy. It appeared woven from living constellations. Galaxies rotated beneath its transparent hull. Wherever it traveled, physical laws rewrote themselves to accommodate its existence. Dominion weapons immediately opened fire. Planet-killing beams struck the vessel, and simply ceased to have ever existed. The attacks vanished from history itself. Crews remembered firing, but no evidence remained. The human ship answered with silence. Then a voice echoed across every communication network in the galaxy simultaneously. We return in peace. Do not mistake peace for weakness. Panic erupted throughout the Dominion Senate. Entire armadas surrounded the lone vessel. Over 100,000 warships prepared to eliminate the threat before more humans could emerge. The order was given. Every weapon fired together. For a brief instant, enough energy to destroy solar systems converged upon the human craft. Then time froze. Every captain found themselves unable to move. Not paralyzed, paused. The human ship drifted calmly through the frozen battlefield. Moments later, time resumed. Every Dominion weapon had transformed into flowering trees growing harmlessly from the hulls of their warships. Entire fleets floated through space covered in forests instead of cannons. No one had died. Humanity had chosen mercy as its first demonstration. Then the true fleet arrived. Millions of ships emerged from impossible geometries. Some were larger than galaxies. Others existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Each carried civilizations born during humanity's journey beyond reality. Artificial intelligences negotiated with stars. Biological architects sculpted planets in minutes. Temporal guardians repaired damaged histories. The Dominion realized these were not merely advanced humans. They were descendants of explorers who had spent millions of subjective years mastering existence itself. The Galactic Senate demanded to know why humanity had returned after such unimaginable evolution. A human ambassador stepped forward. She looked ordinary except for the galaxies reflected in her eyes. Because this is still our home. The Senate expected revenge. They expected annihilation. Instead, humanity revealed recordings of every war, every extinction, every empire that had fallen during Earth's imprisonment. You sealed us away because you feared our potential, the ambassador said softly. While you fought over territory, we discovered infinite realities. While you built larger weapons, we learned to erase the need for war. We came back not to conquer your galaxy, but to save it. At that moment, alarms erupted throughout every observatory. The stars themselves were disappearing. Entire regions of space faded into nothingness. Humanity had already detected the threat from beyond reality. A predator older than the universe had awakened. It consumed dimensions themselves. Every civilization in known existence would vanish within weeks. The Dominion's greatest fleets were powerless. Their technology belonged to ordinary reality. The enemy existed beyond it. Human commanders exchanged silent glances before smiling. We've defeated this kind before. Thousands of human vessels accelerated into impossible space. They fought battles that unfolded across timelines instead. Humanity's offer of peace transformed the galaxy overnight, but peace did not erase fear. Across thousands of star systems, governments celebrated publicly while secretly preparing contingency plans. The Dominion Admiralty ordered hidden shipyards to resume production. Intelligence agencies searched desperately for any weakness in the returning humans. Entire think tanks asked the same question: if humanity could rewrite reality itself, what could possibly stop them from ruling everything? The answer arrived not from a weapon, but from an invitation. Earth opened its borders for the first time in 50,000 years. Every species was invited to witness what humanity had become. Delegations expected a fortress world surrounded by impossible defenses. Instead, they found oceans cleaner than memory, forests stretching across continents once covered in cities, and floating metropolises where technology and nature existed in perfect harmony. Human children laughed beside alien visitors without fear. Ancient veterans who had crossed beyond reality spent their days teaching music, mathematics, and art rather than warfare. The delegates were confused. One Dominion general finally asked the question everyone had been afraid to voice. "With all your power, why don't you conquer us?" An elderly human smiled as though hearing a child's question. "Because power is measured by what you refuse to do." The answer echoed through the galaxy, but not everyone believed it. Hidden beyond the Perseus Rift, the remnants of an ancient empire known as the Void Covenant had watched humanity's return in silence. They had existed long before the Dominion rose to power, surviving by hiding in dimensions between dimensions. Unlike every civilization humanity had encountered, the Covenant possessed fragments of technology stolen from the same ancient beings who had once ruled beyond reality. Their supreme oracle studied the recordings of humanity's fleet for weeks before speaking only 3 words. They are incomplete. The Covenant believed humanity had mastered only one half of existence. Somewhere even beyond reality existed a forbidden realm known only in forgotten legends as the Absolute Horizon, the birthplace of every universe ever created. Whoever controlled the horizon could not merely rewrite reality. They could decide which realities were allowed to exist at all. The Covenant had searched for it across millions of years without success. Now they realized humanity unknowingly carried the final key. Instead of attacking Earth directly, they executed a far more dangerous plan. They stole history. Entire civilizations awoke one morning to discover impossible changes. Famous battles had never occurred. Ancient alliances had been replaced by centuries of hatred. Stars vanished from maps because they had supposedly never formed. Even memories became unreliable. The galaxy descended into chaos as reality itself unraveled. Humanity recognized the signs immediately. "Someone is editing the foundation of causality," Admiral Elena Soto warned before the Galactic Council. "This isn't war. It's authorship." Human fleets deployed, but for the first time since returning, their technology struggled. Every correction they made was instantly rewritten by an unseen hand. Then Earth's oldest quantum archive detected a signal originating from a place beyond every known dimension. It was not a transmission but a signature, a fingerprint left by whoever was altering existence. The coordinates pointed toward a region that should not have existed, a staircase of light extending upward through empty space, each step leading beyond the laws of physics. Human explorers recognized it from forgotten records recovered during their first expeditions into beyond reality. They had deliberately avoided it for millions of subjective years because every civilization they encountered had warned them of the same thing. Never climb the infinite stair. Those who reach the top stop belonging to reality. Admiral Soto looked upon the impossible staircase and understood the truth. The prison that had once sealed Earth had never been humanity's greatest challenge. It had only been preparation. Beyond the infinite stair waited an enemy capable of deciding the fate of every universe, and humanity would have to journey even farther beyond reality than ever before if they hoped to stop it. As the first human flagship ascended the glowing steps, the stars of the Milky Way dimmed once again, and for the first time since their return, humanity entered a war where even they did not know if they could come home.